A very good afternoon to you. It is 2 minutes to 4 p.m. East African time here in Nairobi, Kenya. Thank you for keeping it TV47 as I get you informed on the latest at this hour. My name is Sheilar Chelangat and we begin now. A 17-year-old boy has been arrested by the DCI after being captured on video desecrating the Kenyan flag during last weekend's CAF Champions League clash between Kenya Police FC and Mogadishu City FC at Nyayo Stadium. The suspect was among two individuals seen mishandling the flag, an act that sparked national outrage. Footage from the Sunday match shows persons believed to be Mogadishu fans stomping and kicking the Kenyan flag as Kenya Police secured a 3-1 victory. Speaking at a Jukwaa la Usalama forum in Garissa, Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen condemned the incident, calling it a blatant show of disrespect. These suspects could face charges under Section 2B of the National Flag Emblems and Names Act, which criminalizes any form of disrespect, whether in speech, manner, or writing towards the national anthem, flag, or other specified emblems.
Hiyo jambo sio kati ya Kenya na Somalia. Hiyo ni jambo ya kati ya authorities ya Kenya na Wakenya na wenye wamekosea. Hao wawili watatu ni hao binafsi na watachukuliwa hatua ya kisheria kibinafsi. Haikuwa serikali ya Somalia na haikuwa watu wote wa Somalia. Na tutaki watu pia wa generalize kusema kwamba mtu mmoja akifanya makosa nchi mzima imefanya makosa. Kuna Wakenya pia katika nchi zingine wanakosea na wanachukuliwa hatua ya kisheria kibinafsi, sio kama Kenya. Na kuna Wakenya wanakikosea huko nchi za nje wanapitia njia za kisheria, kama vile si wa Somalia peke yao wamekosea hapa Kenya. Tuko na watu wa kutoka taifa mbalimbali wanafanya makosa tofauti tofauti. Tunapata wengine na madawa ya kulevya, tunapata wengine wanafanya biashara bila leseni, wengine wanafanya makosa. Tunawachukulia hatua kibinafsi, sio kama nchi ambazo wanatoka. Na kwa hivyo tuna uhusiano mzuri sana na nchi ya Somalia.
And a pathologist has told the High Court that the injuries sustained by the Kianjakoma brothers, whose death sparked national outrage in 2021, were inconsistent with claims that they jumped from a moving police vehicle. Testifying before Lady Justice Margaret Muigai, the witness said she conducted post-mortem examinations on Emmanuel Mutura and Benson Jiru, concluding that both died from severe blunt force trauma. Police had initially claimed the brothers leapt from a moving Land Cruiser on the night of August 1st, 2021, while being transported to custody for alleged curfew violations. 6 police officers are now facing murder charges in connection with the deaths.
Excluding falling from a motor vehicle.
Yes.
Let us start on the scientific explanation of why you exclude a moving motor vehicle. Kindly explain your scientific explanation.
For this particular body, Emmanuel Mutura, Emmanuel had multiple skull and facial bone fractures with base of skull fracture. Now, if you fall from a moving vehicle, you have one impact. You don't fall all over. Like, you don't hit your head all over. You're falling from a vehicle and you hit the floor or wherever you are. So the impact will be on one part of the body, the one part of the head. But this one had multiple segmented fractures of the skull, and including the mandible. The mandible is these bones, and base of skull fractures, which were not consistent with that one impact of falling from a moving vehicle.
And away from that, the Anglican Church of Kenya has called for the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to be granted prosecutorial mandate in a bid to curb corruption and misuse of public resources. further commending the government for streamlining the economy, while Archbishop Ole Sapit says is on the right trajectory. The church has equally castigated political leaders who take part in divisive politics along ethnic lines.
That EACC be granted prosecutorial mandate that would enable them to perform their duties without interference from the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution. 2, we demand that the government officers who have been mentioned in corruption cases must resign or step aside until their cases are investigated and conclusively determined. This will show seriousness with which the government handles corruption cases. The state of the economy does not give hope and confidence to the citizens. The level of unemployment among our young people is worrying and creating a sense of despair, and may have direct bearing in rising cases of crime. And we demand that the country's leadership consider a workable plan to stimulate and spur the economy, and especially aside from the so-called empowerment programs that seem discriminatory and does not spur confidence in the way public funds are used for handouts. It is worrying to hear calls from some politicians proposing extension of the tenure of elective position from 5 to 7 years. Since independence, citizens have had the opportunity to elect her leaders every 5 years. The US, which is a bigger economy in the world, has a 4-year presidential term. It is unacceptable for some politicians to want to extend their stay in office.
And top executives across East Africa are being urged to embrace risk-informed leadership as a catalyst for transformation and resilience. Speaking at a high-level breakfast hosted by the Institute of Risk Management Africa, CEOs were challenged to embed risk at the heart of their strategic decisions. Joyce Ndirangu, director at the Risk Management Hub Africa, emphasized the need to move beyond mere compliance and cultivate a culture of proactive risk engagement. Kiprono Kitony, chair of the Nairobi Securities Exchange, warned of escalating digital threats, calling for cross-sector partnerships to strengthen institutional defenses.
Kenya actually has the highest number of members across Africa. So I would call this a low-hanging fruit. This is our first success story. We build enough footprint here in Kenya and make the noise and spread across the African market. So onto the northern side, onto the eastern, the western side, and the southern side, beginning with Kenya. Not only are we the registered office, our mandate continues to be Africa continental-wide.
And barely 3 weeks after Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja was given a 2-month ultimatum to address mounting challenges in the county, a section of leaders have accused him of failing Nairobians. Speaking at an affordable housing event in South B, Embakasi North MP James Gakuya and Nairobi South MCA Waithera Shege slammed the governor for what they termed as sleeping on the job. They cited neglect of waste management, stalled development projects and unpaid contractors, despite residents continuing to pay taxes. The leaders called for urgent intervention, warning that City Hall risks losing public trust if the issues persist.
County government ya Nairobi imezembea sana, na ukitembea kama masoko zetu takataka hasiokotwi, ukitembea kama Shauri Moyo takataka zimefunga barabara, na kisha tuko na county na tunalipa kodi kila siku. Kwa hivyo tunasema hivi, gavana wa Nairobi, wewe na county yako, tafadhali sisi tuliwachagua ili mundeliver services, na kwa sababu tunalipa kodi, tungetaka kuona kodi yetu ikitumika sawa sawa
kabla siasa ya 2027 ifike. Kama wewe unataka kiti kubwa Nairobi, South B is part of Nairobi. South B is part of Nairobi. Tumekuwa tukitafuta viongozi hapa wakuje tusaidie tukipigana na mambo ya land grabbing. Hao viongozi wakubwa hakuna mtu tulipata. Gavana Sakaja alikuja hapa? Hakukuja, si ni kweli? senator alikuja hapa? Women rep alikuja hapa? Mimi hata women rep sijai muona kwa hii ward. Kusema tu ukweli. Nyinyi mshai muona.
And as Kenya continues to grapple with a persistent gap in the affordable housing sector, private developers are now urging the government to bring them on board in efforts to close that gap. Speaking during the 2025 annual conference of the Kenya Property Developers Association, stakeholders emphasized the need for stronger collaboration between government and private developers to accelerate the delivery of affordable housing units. They expressed concerns that despite ongoing efforts, the government remains behind in schedule in meeting housing targets, especially as urban populations and economic pressures continues to rise. The proposed partnership aims to unlock new opportunities, address systemic challenges, and inject fresh momentum into Kenya's real estate and housing sector.
You obviously heard from Ken.
Sudden and rapid.
At the moment, we're not seeing a heavy participation by the private sector developers in the affordable housing program. Affordable housing is one of the government programs that's going to really unlock the economy, create a lot of employment. And so KPDA is on the forefront of looking at how we can come up with an enabling framework that will allow the private sector to come on board the affordable housing program, and also to ensure that the land, the private land, is brought into the affordable housing program.
I think the government needs to provide a facilitative framework, right? Where they encourage private sector to come in and then provide the affordable housing. Now, that could take the form of tax incentives. That could take the form of maybe providing lower cost of financing. I think that's the way to create a collaborative relationship between the government and the private sector that can then help fulfill that demand gap that is there.
And Kenyans are set to benefit from the construction of a state-of-the-art cancer treatment center for children at Kenyatta National Hospital, following a new initiative by Lions Hospital. Speaking during a wheelchair donation event at Lions Sight First Eye Hospital in Nairobi, AP Singh, International President of Lions Club International, praised the hospital's service delivery, calling it one of the best facilities on the continent. The Children's Cancer Center, valued at 65 million shillings, is expected to expand access to specialized care and improve outcomes for young patients nationwide.
Thank you.
The people who stay there, the members of our organization in this great country, have been providing service, and they will continue to provide service. They have inaugurated just today what is called the Travel Vaccination Center, which is going to be very, very helpful to the people who would be traveling, and those vaccinations are required to take care of the health. Those are even requirements legally, and as you know, they are requirements within the frameworks of law of your country, Kenya, and other countries in the world. They are working towards involving lions from different parts of the world. There is a group today here from China. They've also been able to involve the Diamond Trust Bank to come and make certain donations. Now, all this money which comes in and all these efforts that come in, they grow the level of service. So that more and more people can be treated with cataract surgery. They can be provided advanced eye surgeries. There can be more work done for the eye banking. There can be more work done for those who are hearing impaired, dental matter challenges, diabetic treatment. All of that is being done. So that's being expanded. That will continue to be expanded. Yes.
Maybe one which I don't know whether you can answer it or Dr. Manoj can. Last year.
And in the world of sports, the Kenya Amateur Golf Championship Series continues this weekend with the inaugural Nanyuki Open hosted at Nanyuki Sports Club from Friday, September 26th to Sunday, September 28th. The tournament has attracted 74 elite players, all vying for a 500,000 prize pass with a handicap entry limit of 13.5. The field promises top-tier competition. Series leader John Legirma headlines the lineup alongside Michael Karanga and Elvis Muigua, who arrives fresh off back-to-back wins at the Diani Beach Masters and Malindi Open. Other notable contenders include Malindi Open runner-up Ebil Omolo and Isaac Makoha, setting the stage for a fiercely competitive weekend. Meanwhile, the Mombasa US Kid Golf Local Tour resumes this Sunday at Diamond's Leisure Beach and Golf Resort, making the second leg after the opener at Vipingo Ridge. And Aston Villa will host Serie A side Bologna tonight at Villa Park in a crucial UEFA Europa League. All right, that concludes News Now at 4 p.m. with Sheilar Chelangat. More of those stories in our subsequent bulletins at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. Do enjoy the rest of your viewership. Good afternoon.